War Thunder ground forces ammo types. They are one of the core mechanics of this game, where they either make you rage quit or your opponent. We've all had those moments where in War Thunder you're minding your own business, doing your grind, doing your average War Thunder stuff, and then boom, out of nowhere a level 20 Soviet player just comes out of nowhere, shoots your track or something, I don't know, like a really ridiculous spot, and then just instantly kills you. Just because he used APHE, that shell has broken physics. And for those that are unaware or have never played War Thunder, basically this game has a lot of different ammunition types with varying calibers. Now, in this tier list, I'm not gonna go over each caliber since that'll be very excessive, but I'll be running off a general idea of what the ammunition is, and from my experience of how I've played the game on how I know it performs. We have some exceptions, but that is for special ammo types. And other than that, let's get right into the tier list. So without further ado, let's begin with everyone's favorite shell for all these Zoomers that have started playing this game since 2022. And that shell is the Dart shell. Now, I know this shell is very trendy. Everyone that, when they start playing this game, they're like, oh my glob, you gotta get this shell. But honestly, guys, for all these Zoomers, gotta tell you, the top tier Dart round is very good. Okay? Just because of the spalling. But then again, they added spall liners, so, but I'll still put it as one-shot potential, since because of the spalling you can still one-shot tanks. But however, for the lower BR Dart rounds, I cannot speak the same, guys. It's cringe. It's honestly, they don't do enough spalling. You gotta be really accurate with your shots. It's kind of like a higher skill level to use them. So yeah, I'm sorry to all the milsim enjoyers, to all the Zoomers, but yeah, the lower penning shell that has too many letters for me to remember.
I have no idea what the fuck you're saying right now.
Is going in the cringe category. Anyways, now to everyone's second favorite shell in this game, which is APDS. That's right, Britain. What can we say about the Britain faction in the game?
What the fucking bro? Confidence, nothing, hospitality, and commitments, and I brought your fucking right. You know the back.
Yeah, I'm sorry guys, but every British player that I've talked to in this game, just they just have a love and hate relationship with the British faction, and that's the same logic I can give to this APDS shell. Now, don't get me wrong, I used and abused this shell to its greatest extent. When I played Britain and used the Centurion Action X, that thing would have point-and-click capabilities, basically no drop-off, and everywhere you clicked it would just instantly pen. But then they decided to nerf the tank and nerf the shell globally. And what did we get with that? We got Shell Shatter. And Shell Shatter just really ruins this shell now. Honestly, I'd honestly rather J out than use APDS again. It's giving me such a bad experience. I know Sweden bros.
What a fucking
really bad War Thunder player.
jeez, oh my god, what the fuck?
They get them at 1.0, but what's the point of using it at 1.0 when like every other tank has basically no armor? You love them and you hate them. It's the only Zaza shell in the game.
Fuck it right in the pussy.
Smoke weed every day.
This is the only shell in the game that'll make you smell like a college campus. And what I mean by that, well, it's just by the grade A smoke that it emits. Now, I know they did update at one point where, depending on your caliber, it'll make a bigger smoke effect or something. And yeah, with this shell, you can't kill people. Or maybe you can, but it's not possible to destroy vehicles with this. This shell is just a troll shell, to be honest. It doesn't kill people, it doesn't destroy tanks. They'll put it on the troll section just because you can just make people blind. What's funnier than a Germany player blinding people with smoke? So yeah. Heichi is like your mom jokes. They were funny at the turn of the century, like super fun to use, very unique, you know, comedical, but everyone started using them. And what I mean by that in War Thunder, they just kept adding SPG tanks and SPG tanks and SPG tanks. It used to be where the KV-2 was the Heichi lobber, and then some other, I don't know, like the Japanese, you'll probably see it on the screen, like a few examples of the older vehicles. But now, I feel like every single nation has a tank that can lob Heichi with a high caliber. So honestly, I think I'll put Heichi as a troll shell. Now, talking about the RPG Heichi, nobody uses this. Like, nobody uses this shell. I'd honestly say it's impractical, but it still has some practicality by using it against light vehicles, but yeah, just nobody uses this, so I'll just put it in the cringe part of this tier list. This is the muck shell. From what I know, only 2 vehicles have this in the game. If we do a little guessing game, the realistic response is, of course, the Russian tank is just way better, this type of shell, than the French tank. So honestly, this muck shell, it's I don't know what to say, because only like 2 tanks use it. It's just impractical. Yeah, you can get funny kills with the Object 775 with it, but it's like greatest extent. Now on the bit more usable Heichis, that's the Soviet top tier Heichi, and now the image, I don't know, it's kind of messed up over here. Here we go, and this over here. So this is for the Merkava, and this is for the Soviet Heichi. Now, the thing is, the Merkava Heichi has a little bit more pen than the Soviet Heichi. These shells are fun, and what I mean by that is they're just, you can shoot a Abrams on the top of it, or sometimes really a Leopard, and instantly kill them. The Merkava, I don't know if they fixed it, but it had this broken mechanic where you can just shoot at any tank's tracks and it'll like instantly overpressure it. And honestly, the Merkava shell can be used as an anti-air shell. This thing is just broken. I'll just put it at 1-shot potential, and the Russian one is troll. You know, honestly, I think I'll put average Heichi into cringe, because like so many people use it nowadays. It's just, it became kind of boring. Oh, what are these shells? Wait, guys, do you hear something?
If you're coming right now, let me see it. Let me see it. Huh? He who is coming? Come out here.
Where I am. Was that the bite of 87?
Okay, we're back on the video. Sorry guys, some type of like interference happened, I don't know. I swear I saw like 2 shells over here or something, like 2 or 3 shells, I don't know guys. Anyways, back to the video. So now we're gonna talk about the 3 musketeers. And what are those 3 musketeers? Those are the proxy Heichi, timed Heichi, and the ATGM Heichi. Now, honestly, these are very satisfying Heichis, you know. I've seen way too many Bacons where they just shoot down a plane with the proxy, or like you see those German Flak 88s using the timed Heichi and the Flak 88 truck. And honestly, this rocket ATGM Heichi is pretty good since you can easily guide it towards cupolas. My final judgment on those shells are basically, these shells are just for cool people, you know, for the cool kids. I'll put the rocket Heichi at, a missile Heichi at 1-shot potential, and these at troll shells. Because they're pretty satisfying to use, you know, when you get air targets, and sometimes you can even get tank kills with them. So they're pretty good troll shells. Now, people who use this variant of Heichi, you don't mess around with these guys. these guys can mess you up 10 different ways. From what I know, there's 2 Russian tanks that have this type of ATGM. Now, I don't know for the other nations. And for example, the BMP-2M, this is just a perfect ATGM. You can shoot down helicopters easily, you can overpressure tanks. I honestly like it, and I've had a lot of funny moments with it. So this one's gonna go to the one-shot potential area as well.
Why are we still here? Just to suffer? Every night, I can feel my leg, my arm, even my fingers.
Okay, anyways, so I don't know why the BMP-2M grenade launcher like ammunition is here, but this is like impractical, dude. You can't kill anything with this. You can't even destroy planes. There's no point of using this. Nobody uses this shell. Alright, so since we're still on the topic of high explosives, we can't forget about Hesh. This is another one of Britain's favorite shells. Now, Hesh is also one of the shells that was a hero, and then it became a 0. If you guys were around the days when the Leopard 1 had Hesh, still has it, but when it was 1000 silver per shot, if you shot anywhere with the HE, you would just instantly destroy that opponent without any problems. But then the big Hesh nerf came in, and yeah, it's just nobody uses Hesh anymore. I mean, there are people who use it, but nobody uses it seriously. Only like, I think Britain players use it kind of seriously. So honestly, I'd say like the only tank that has a pretty good Hesh round is the FV. But then again, it still struggles because it's Hesh rather than pure HE. Sorry gamers, but I think I'll put Hesh at cringe. It's not what it used to be anymore. Alright, moving on to rockets. Everyone's funniest shell to use. Rockets are the most wholesome ammo type in this game. If you're the guy that manages to get kills with these, the dopamine rush that happens in your brain is like just simply like popping 10 Zins at once. You know, you just get a dopamine overload. Even if you're not the one using the rockets and you get killed by a rocket, you don't even, like 9 times out of 10, you don't even get angry about it. Because you understand that the guy who killed you with the rocket had to have some level of experience with using rockets, you know? Since they can still be a bit flimsy, like a flimsy shell type that you can barely use. So that's why gamers, I'm gonna put rockets at one-shot potential. They're just way too fun to use. If you have the Sturm Tiger, it's even way more fun. Alright, so how about we talk about anti-air missiles? Oh, so anti-air missiles. Here's the deal with the anti-air missiles. I understand their purpose is to only shoot down planes. If it doesn't let me shoot it at tanks and at least it gives me a chance to destroy them, then it's not worth my time. I know there are those players where their first vehicle that they spawn in is an Ocelot and they sit at the spawn like some type of troll under the bridge, waiting for any type of helicopter or plane to emerge, ignoring all of the other tank gameplay and just sitting there as an anti-air. But anyways, heat-seeking missiles, they're practical against planes, so I can't call them impractical. I'll just put them in the cringe category because it's kind of cringe using them. Except if we're using the Soviet missiles. Speaking of the Panzer missiles, I think this indicator over here is for the Panzer missiles, so I'll put them as a troll missile. Since we're talking about anti-air missiles, we can't forget about the ADAT's MIM missile. Now, this is a very satisfying anti-air, anti-everything shell type or rocket. I don't know how to exactly put it, but it's very satisfying to use. It's just a fuck you missile. It just destroys everything. Honestly, do not underestimate ADAT's players. I'll just put this all the way to one-shot potential. USA players say they suffer a lot in top tier, but if I were to have the ADATs, I'd honestly have fun with it. Whoa! What the? Dude, my room is just reeking right now. Like, what happened? It's like, my room is like really stinky right now. I don't know what happened, guys. What the? Anyways, So I think we should move towards the most hated shell in the game. And what's the most hated shell? That's right, APHE.
Check it out. Oh, good morning, Rupert. Please tell me you set the timer on the coffee maker because I completely forgot. Hey, Carl. Hey, can I get a couple of scratch-off lottery tickets? Oh, sure, Brian. Oh, Brian, can I do one? I love scratches. Well, all right, maybe just one. Cherry. Another cherry. Oh, come on, one more.
Every experienced player that has played this game, when they hear that word APHE, when somebody utters those words, they just go on a 1,000,000-word essay on how this is the most broken thing in the game. And honestly, I couldn't agree more. It is broken. So
let's talk about that.
These guys are basically the main villains of middle BR and sometimes low BR. They're just the epitome of what makes all War Thunder players have unadulterated, pure 100% rage all the time in this game. These are the shells that are 90% in the Thunder shell, since they score like the most craziest kills ever. And they manage to create the most redundant ways of killing people in the game. And due to that, honestly, I'm gonna put these high penning shells at the top of the list. So this one, I'll put it right on top since, yeah, so these ones are the APHE BC, and this one will be a troll shell. It can still pen like angled armor, but yeah, I think this one is the lesser one of these, but it's still pretty good. Low penning APHEs. These shells try to be what the high penning APHEs are, but fail in it, due to them having low HE filler or just not enough pen and people just don't use them at all. I'll put the APHE BC one at troll shell, but honestly these other two sometimes are kind of like disappointments, so I'll put them at cringe. They're still APHE, so they still have one-shot potentials, but sometimes they're a bit flunky. Guys, what's going on? A snail just appeared. Oh my god, what is this snail doing, dude? Dude, can somebody like stop this snail? What is it doing? Okay, well, okay, it just decided to put heat at Rather J out. Honestly, I don't know what type of snail ghost this is, but it's kind of right, so I'll just let it be there. Moving on. How about we talk about the bare bone AP shell, and that is this one, the Impractical. It's just a regular AP shell. It's nothing special to it. It's like eating instant noodles, you know? Like, it's okay, but it's still impractical, but it kind of does the job sometimes. Now these are the more higher penning shells. These are the go-to shells for the UK and US players. Anything that gets touched by the UK faction in this game, it's like a curse. It gets a curse for 1,000,000 years of bad luck. So honestly, I'd say these types of AP shells are kind of cringe, but the higher penning one, I'll put it as a troll shell, just because some of them have really good spalling, like the M103 solid shot. And now we move on to HVAP. And HVAP is really a hit or miss. Yeah, it's good mid-tier when you're facing super armored German tanks, but it still occasionally has that awful shell shattering mechanic. So honestly, this shell, I think I'll put it at cringe. It's like, I just don't like that shell shatter mechanic. It's really painful. It brings me back bad memories. Now, ATGMs. Which type of ATGM are we talking about? The first type, the regular ATGM. This honestly is a hard one for me, since this ammo type is like that scene in Toy Story 3 with the withered and forgotten old toy. You know, that like pink bear that plays a major part. It's been like beaten up left and right with buffs and nerfs, and like it just all sorts of like nasty things have happened to the point where like this shell is like okay. Like, it's okay to use, you know? I think I'll put this at the top of cringe. It's ATGM, you know, before you used to be able to shoot down planes with it, but then they gave it the big ATGM nerf, and now it's just okay. Maybe bottom, nah, you know what, actually, nah, it'll be top cringe. tandem ATGMs. Now, the tandem is a complete 180 of the regular ATGM. It's basically like the successful brother of the ATGM. It has a good amount of HE. Well, for the most part, for most tandem ATGMs that I know. Excellent pen. And for some vehicles, it's super fast. So this one goes all the way at the top, one-shot potential. It's just a very good ATGM. Maybe one of the best ATGMs, I'm not too sure. Now the Bill ATGM. The Bill ATGM, it honestly sounds good on paper. I know a lot of Sweden mains are gonna hate me for this. They're gonna write angry comments, but honestly, it's not that special. I went up against these ATGMs many times while playing Soviets. You know, they were designed to counter Soviet tanks, and 9 times out of 10, I just survived the Bill ATGMs. Yeah, these guys can fling like 3 or 4 of them and I still manage to survive. And even when I use these on, for example, the Weasel that has them, they're pretty fun on some engagements, but overall they're kind of gimmicky sometimes. But I'll still put them as a troll shell, just because you can pull off some good kills with them if like some type of tank is hiding or something like that. They're okay. They're okay for ATGM. I think this is the Star Streak ATGM. Hold up, one moment, guys. I forgot what this is. Oh yeah, this is made by the UK. Honestly, I think anything that's made by the UK in this game, like it just for some reason the UK faction decides to remove all types of HE fillers and make it like AP only. I don't know what's the obsession with that in that faction, but it honestly makes everything kind of bad if you don't have any HE fillers. So it's just, I don't know, Star Streak is kind of impractical to use against tanks. Against planes, I think is also kind of impractical. I think I've gotten hit by these missiles and I've still managed to fly back to the airfield and repair myself. So yeah, I think these are just highly impractical. Alright. So these are the sharpnail shells over here. This is for the Puma and this is the regular sharpnail shell. Now the Puma sharpnail shell, I guess it's cool, guys. That's the only thing I could say. It's cool. Yeah, it's cool. Cringe, but cool. Sharpnail shells, who uses this even? It's like rather J out. Like nobody likes to use this seriously. Oh yeah, guys, let's not forget these ZSU-57's APHE shells. One thing I can emphasize on, do not attack ZSU-57s unprepared, because for its BR, these shells can destroy half the lobby if you're playing against a skilled ZSU-57 player. These guys go all the way at the top. Basically, these guys are just LARPers. These shells are just LARPing as APHE. I know they replaced the KV-2's anti-concrete shell with this, and honestly it just hasn't felt the same. Yeah, you can tell me that it's basically the same shell, but I feel like they made it less broken. Honestly, if you're using the low pen one, it's kind of cringe since they don't even have enough HE. Honestly, I'd even say like impractical. But if you're using the higher penning one, then I'd say it's a troll shell. It's a pretty good troll shell. I heard this shell makes Germany players see better. I mean, if it makes Germany players see better, I'd put it like all the way at the top, guys. And you can't forget the potato shell. This is just like an excellent shell, way better than the dart shells. Like, I'd rather shoot potatoes than, I don't know what this is. Like, I can't even remember its full name.
These are potatoes, Comrade Commissar. Why are we using potatoes instead of real grenades?
Because real grenades are valuable. In fact, they are worth a lot more than you are.
Alright, guys, and that's a wrap of the whole video. I would like to thank you all for watching this. Don't take it too seriously, it's for edutainment purposes. Big shout out to DoWops. After watching his very funny content, I kind of got this idea and was like, hey, maybe I should implement it into War Thunder. So big shout out to that YouTuber. He's really funny and I enjoy his content. If DoWops is watching this, if you ever want to play War Thunder and see how the community is, you should definitely give me a call. But other than that, if you guys enjoyed the video, be sure to give it a like and subscribe. And yeah, be sure to check out my Patreon. But other than that, see ya, guys.